everybody, welcome back to your Brigandine guide for knights in the country of Manaslesia Theocracy. So let's get into it here. Let's talk about LARGO today, or as I like to call him, Key LARGO. Sound the intro!
And as usual, stay triggered. Pew pew, pew.
Got a little bit to cover. I did have a few comments asking me to do more demonstration for some of the knights and all that. I'm going to do that in a different video because that couldn't cover a lot of things, and I'd rather break it down individually to smaller segmental videos so that you can absorb this a little bit easier, because there's a lot to cover. There are a lot of knights in this game. So to try to cover every single one in particular would be a breakdown video as to which knights I like better, or which knights I feel have better potential, or something like that. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you enjoy this video, make sure that you give back to me the same way I give to you. Please do that. Please help the channel out here. All right, so let's talk about the champion LARGO. So is this guy good? Is he bad? Is he okay? You know, what's going on here? Well, I don't know how to say this better than I kind of have a, I don't know. He's kind of middle of the road for me. He's not a terrible knight. He's actually pretty good knight. I don't really use the champions as much as maybe other people do, so maybe my view on LARGO is going to be a little skewed. So you have to forgive me on that, but I haven't really used champions as much in this game. Now, in the previous incarnation of Grand Edition and before that, I loved using champions. In this one, not as much. I can't say I really know why. I think I just liked, you know, having the Viking in here, and I used the Berserker class more, but whatever. We'll get into it today. So what do? They equip these hand glove pieces here. That's their weapon for that. They have a light armor piece here. They have a gauntlet for their hand defense. This would be considered where you would put the hat. Instead of a hat, they have a arm defense, and in gloves and a ring. So that's what they get for that. What's so special about this guy as a champion? Now, I'd have to say he'd be kind of comparable to Elson in a way. I'm not sure if he beats Elson heads up in a head-to-head battle, because I haven't really used the champion class as much, but he's got really good agility. So his agility is 92, which means he's going to hit a lot of stuff, even with special attacks and all that, as you can see here. If we look at the strength is 99, agility 92. He has literally the perfect number right there with 777. And he's got, you know, defense is all right. It's kind of in the knight class here with defense 105, intelligence 67. So honestly, he's a pretty good knight. You know, when you look at the intelligence, agility, and the attack is, you know, 148. It's pretty decent, you know, pretty good. And the only thing that we would probably say there's a little downside to is the command range is at 3 there. Character growth is at E, which isn't all that good. So 3 and E are just subpar. And the rune growth, you know, we could say this is really good, but this is kind of contingent upon the level they're at. So now that I'm level 25, level C is what we got with that. So that's kind of okay. But, you know, I'd have to say, I think LARGO's kind of a little better than average champion. I wouldn't say he's the best. I'm not going to say he's the worst, but I'd say let's put him in kind of the medium, you know, in a medium class range there, as far as what I can see. If you think he's better than that, please let me know. But I haven't been using, I've used him a lot, but I haven't really thought about putting him and fielding him into my main team. So he's kind of like in other teams that I don't use as much. But if you like the champion class, please let me know more about that. So what do we got here? As the champion, we have a critical damage up, increases damage dealt by 25%, which is really good when you get that. So it just cranks up your crit damage. Kind of like, if you want to think about the champion class here, it's kind of like the swordsman class in a way, where it kind of focuses on critical damage more and not so much as much defense, but it's kind of like another sort of version. It's like a pseudo version of the swordsman or samurai class, if you want to look at it like that. Accuracy up to S, You know, you get the accuracy bonuses by being a champion here, which actually is really good. So agility of 92 plus 20% accuracy practically means you're probably going to hit all the time. So when it comes to reliability, if you want to defend an area that has a little bit of mountains or something like that, I'd have to say, you know, that'd be a pretty good thing there. I don't know how I got off that, but yeah, I'd have to say you're defending some mountain terrain because, you know, they love to be in the mountains right here. This whole mountain thing is a big, big deal to them. And there is going to be some maps where you do have to defend a mountain path, and Largo could be your man to do that. So I would probably recommend him for that sort of job. You can definitely take him out and do other things with him. I've always had a decent time playing as the guy. So what do you get as basic attacks go? So Divine Blow is the basic attack here. It's got 125 power, 13 accuracy, 1 little element dot, so just 1 extra orb for that. Ground and sky. This up and down. This is contingency. Basically means you have a better chance of hitting ground and a less chance hitting sky. Counter is up, so you know, good chance to counter. No MP for that. Just the basic attack right there. Nothing really to worry about. So vacuum uppercut, you're probably wondering, like, why is that just 125, the same as Divine Blow? What's the big deal? It's the same accuracy. Big whoop, it gives me 1 extra, you know, orb to use to kind of increase the damage by, I want to say 2%. It's not very much. Pretty much the same stuff here. All the same stuff except for it costs 30 MP to do the same thing. What's the point of that? Well, here's the point. Here is what you need to know. So Vacuum Uppercut does moderate damage, single adjacent enemy unit, recover HP equal to 20% of the damage dealt. So if you get a crit hit with this, if you're going for your luck shot crit hits, and this is kind of the secret to use the champions well, is now if we go back here real quick, I know there's, you know, my numbers are crossing stuff out, but you see the MP, we got 191 MP on the right next to hit points. You see that on the right side? 191 MP. This will give me back 20% of the damage dealt, right? But 191 and it's 30 MP. So right now at level 25, we break that down how many times? So that'd be 30, 30, 30, and then 30, 30, 30. We'd have 6 times to do this vacuum uppercut to crit another monster, and if we get a crit, that would crank up the damage, and in whatever that total damage is, we get 20% of that damage back as hit points. So basically it's kind of like being a vampire and sucking back some hit points in a sense, if you think about the ghouls and something like that. Kind of like that, which, you know, you want to basically do this attack after you've been damaged, and it doesn't matter as soon as, you know, whatever the damage is. As soon as you've been damaged, even if it's like 50 hit points, something like that, you could use this, get a crit, and maybe get back all the hit points. I would say probably focus on that, you know, as far as trying to use this efficiency. So essentially, this is your basic attack. This one says moderate damage because of the extra orb, which is just a little bit more, but it's really about just sucking back hit points to keep yourself alive, right? Okay, so that's kind of what that's about. Now, we go down to this one here, Fighting Focus. This is just increasing your attack for a limited number of turns. So you could do this first. So you can move into a place, set yourself up, do this right away, because this doesn't have a pre-move to it. You know, you see that the foot with the red X next to it doesn't have a pre-move. You could do this, set yourself up right away in the front lines, pop this skill, do Fighting Focus, and then the next turn, after you've been hit, now your damage is stronger because of Fighting Focus, and if you get a crit on top of that, you could almost heal yourself up for maybe a quarter, I don't know, maybe a half of the amount of, well, not exactly half amount of damage, but, you know, you could heal yourself up a good amount. Let's just say that. Let's just ballpark it and say that. Heal yourself up a good amount, but you'd kind of want to just put this on first before you're about to get into a battle, a big fight. You can put yourself at the pinnacle point of the line so you can just fight everything imaginable and then do Vacuum Uppercut all day until you basically burn it out. And just keep yourself alive just by getting hit points back because you did this attack. Now, this doesn't count as a counter attack. This only counts Well, yeah, I think you might be... No, this doesn't. This counts as your basic attacks, but this will definitely be helpful. So I do this a lot. I kind of focus on this. There is this move at the bottom, Maximum Rush. Deals maximum damage to a single adjacent enemy unit. Now, this is a pre-move. So, dang it. I'm drawing weird lines here. All right. I promise you I'm not drunk. I'm just... oh, man. I just can't draw with this mouse right now. But, yeah, this does massive damage here. It is 230. So, as you know, Rudo's attack goes from, like, what was it, 245 to 300 or something, or 290 or something like that. So this is a massive, powerful attack, right? Now, the drawback is it has -4 accuracy. So you lose a little accuracy, so it's kind of a good thing if you get one of these champions up with a lot of agility. Then you're going to have enough accuracy to hit it, even with this minus accuracy modifier to this attack right here, right? Now you're going to get all 3 orbs extra on top of it all, which is going to crank up the damage too. It's the same thing as all the other attacks, ground and sky. You can't hit sky creatures as well, just the ground ones. You know, it's got this, and it does cost 100 MP. So this will drain your bucket right away. And as you see, you know, with looking back on the initial screen, right? It if you look at it, you only have 191 MP right now at level 25. Now you could have more with gear, or you could get more with just stat growths. Stat growths. It could be something like that, but you know, if it's just 191, then all we're really banking on right now, if you got kind of the same guy that I have, is you got 1 maximum rush, right? So it would turn into a situation where, let's say you wanted to take out a leader, like you want to take out Tim, because Largo is working with Rudo, and then Tim goes in the front lines, and you're able to do a maximum rush. Well, if you got a 94% chance to hit, I'd go with it, and just give as much damage to the black elemental that you can, just to, you know, get the win. But if you're not up against that kind of situation, then I think maximum rush might be a waste of a skill. So I would probably focus on the vacuum uppercut for the most part. If you're in just normal battle, you're not up against something you need to destroy. Let's say there's a Lilith on the field and you want to destroy it, or Tim from Holy Gustava, or a leader that you can really get down, beat them down hard enough, fast enough, maybe a dragon, then use the maximum rush for that. But otherwise, I would say it's just there when you need it. But for the most part, when you're in the front lines, if you can keep getting a little bit of hit points back all the time, then you can put a loop heal on him with a little bit of hit points back, a vacuum uppercut, and then you probably don't have to heal him for most of the battle. Honestly, it'd be pretty simple to just keep him in there, and he kind of like gets his health back 20%, and he gets a little loop heal on top. Or you put a protect spell on him. I mean, that probably would solve all your problems, right? Okay, so let's look at his profile here. Name is Key Largo. Sorry, just kidding. It's Largo. Gender male, age 33, class champion. A friar who belongs to the Holy Watchman of the Rune. Taken in by a covenant as an abandoned child. He spent most of his childhood in prayer and worship until he awakened to his mana powers. He now detests his powers as they have been used to hurt people in the past. However, one day he witnessed bandits attacking a settlement in which he was performing missionary work and, for the first time in his life, used his mana powers to punish them. Since then, he has transformed into a friar who mercilessly executes justice on heretics. So, he's kind of a good guy, actually. Well, you know, one of the few good guys you'll see. And a pretty decent tank, not like... I've never really been overwhelmed by champions anyway, so maybe my opinion on that is a little skewed, like I said earlier. But pretty reliable in battle. Never had... I mean, yeah, there's been some battles he's gone down in, and, you know, it's a little sad, but fairly reliable. Not... I don't know if I'd say he's like one of the best. He's definitely not one of the worst. All I can really say is he's just kind of middle of the road. But he can be reliable. You know, you put some gear on him and he's going to probably shine. He's one of the decent knights, besides the command range and character growth that you get on Mana Celestia's team. But yeah, that's about all I got to say for him. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you know, do what you got to do. And I will see you in the next video. We're going to cover more of the Mana Celestia Knights, get through that. And there's other things I'm going to cover too, because now I've been having more ideas as far as what I can go through and get done. So I'll see you in the next Brigandine guide video or other game video that I have on my channel. Thanks so much for being here.